Hello, I'm Igor and welcome to my Tech Fan. I have a very interesting product for this video, and that's the Mintion Beagle camera and printing server. This is not a sponsored video. The Mintion company sent this box to me for testing purposes and for the review. Let's see what can we do with this camera. For example, we can create very nice time-lapse videos. We can watch our printing remotely over the app, and there is an app for Android and iOS. We can connect to the printer over the browser. We can supervise the temperature, for example, and with one app we can supervise several cameras. And as you can see, there are different types. On their website there is a list of compatible CD printers and the slicers. And here you can see some of the specifications. The price is approximately $70, but it depends on the country and of the type. And here you can see the list of the compatible CD printers, which is continuously updated, and there is the list of the compatible slicers. Maybe you recognize some functions from the Octoprint, but theoretically this is much easier to set up, and it's much cheaper because don't forget you need a Raspberry Pi, and today prices are extremely high, and of course you need some kind of kit with a power supply, memory card, and of course don't forget you will need a camera too. Okay, let's see what's in the box and try to connect it, and probably I will try to use it with one of my NS3s, maybe exactly with this one. This is S1. Well, this arrived in a package. Separately I got one USB cable too. Quick guide manual. It's in English and it's quite detailed. And this is the camera. And there is the power adapter, and basically this is the content of the box: the camera, the power adapter, output 5 volts, 1 ampere, the needle for the reset, and these two cables on one side, the regular USB, on the other side this is the USB-C and the micro B. And separately I got this cable, which was outside of the box. This is the lens of the camera, and this is the infrared sensor because it can record in the night too, only the image will be black and white. This is the microphone and the base of the camera. On the back side we have the speakers, two LEDs, green is for the Wi-Fi connection and red if it's connected to the printer. This is the USB for the communication. This is USB Type-C. I think this is for the power. There is the reset button and a slot for the micro SD card. And inside the camera we can find the 32 GB pre-installed micro SD card. Now for the installation I will just follow the instructions in the user manual. First I have to give it a power, and for this I will use this cable, which is Type-C. And theoretically the second cable, this is micro B, should be used for connecting with the printer. For example, for NS3 V2 I could use this cable, but I want to test it with the NS3 S1, but S1 has also the Type-C connection plug, so I have to use one of my own cables to make this second connection here. Connecting the power. And this is my own cable, since this printer also has the USB-C type of the connection.
Camera is ready for AP configuration.
Next step is installing the Beagle print application. Open. I have to create an account first. We have some instructions here. Let's add device. But there are several methods how can we connect the camera to the home network. One of the methods is to connect our phone to the camera Wi-Fi, and then we can enter the home network and the password. The default password is 01234567. Now it is connected to the camera's Wi-Fi. Now I can add the device. Yes, I'm sorry. And after this, the camera can log into our home network with this data. Fortunately, I couldn't connect to my main router, but maybe that's the reason is that it works on 5 GHz, but I have a Wi-Fi extender. So let's try that. And this one works on 2.4 GHz, so I hope this will work. I will reset the camera.
Successfully resetting the camera. Camera is ready for Wi-Fi connection.
And now I'll try a new method, add device, QR scan. Yes, I heard the voice that it is ready for Wi-Fi connection. Here I have to enter the Wi-Fi name and the password. And I have a QR code which will be scanned by the camera. Okay, that was the problem, so it doesn't work with the 5 GHz networks, but with 2.4 it worked and it's connected now, and I can now connect it with the printer. And there is it, picture from the camera. With some small delay. Quick check is if it is working. Let's try to move the axis. It's working, there is small delay, but that's not so important. So this is the app. So here I can see the camera, which is pointed to my printer, and I can see this even if I'm not at home. I'm on different type of the network. I don't know, a few other settings. Here I can see the temperatures of the hot end and the bed. With this I can move the axis, list of G-codes which I could print, but I don't have any so far. Timeless, but I didn't record any, and some other settings. By default it recognizes it as NS3 Pro or V2, but this is S1. Let's see the printer connection settings. See here I have the Wi-Fi settings, recording, the normal recording of the video, which is disconnected now, the time-lapse. With the time-lapse settings I will change the frame per seconds from 15 to 25. And I have two types of the compression. The JPEG is a little bit better quality, but H264, it has the smaller size. I will test both. The save button. And in camera information, I have the IP address which I can enter to my browser on my laptop, and then I can connect my laptop with the printer. This is the IP address of my camera. Username and the password is admin. And this is the preview picture from the camera. And now I can connect to the printer. And it's connected now. Let's try to move the axis. And it's moving, so it's working. Let's see quickly the menu, the dashboard. Here I can move or do some settings with the printer. Timeless video, but I don't have any. 2D review, 3D review, G-code reading, and there are some other settings. Let's try to upload some G-code. Printable file list, I don't have any, so I will upload one. This is a small one, yes, no coin. And with this last button I can load and print. The temperature is rising. So basically I started the printing from this browser. So I send the G-codes from the browser to the printer, and I can see the temperatures are rising, so it is preparing for the printing. And the time-lapse recording is enabled, so I'm very curious how will it do it. Probably after every layer change, it will move the head to the side and create a picture with this camera. It started with the printing almost regularly, only had one movement to the corner, maybe it created one picture, first picture of the time-lapse. And it's starting next layer, so it moved to the side, probably take another picture. Now thanks to this movement, after every layer, we may have more stringing compared to the regular when we don't have this moving to our side. And that's one problem. And the other is that I thought that the part will be weaker, but we will get to this a little bit later. So one more thing I wanted to try, and that if I can access to the camera even if I'm not on the same network. So as you can see, I disabled the Wi-Fi. I'm on a mobile internet, so completely different type of the internet, and I can connect the camera. I can see the printing, which is in progress at, I don't know, 45%. I could pause or stop the printing. For example, if I see some problems, I can stop the printing remotely even if I'm not at home. I can see here the temperatures and other settings, but I don't want to interrupt it. I will leave the printing to be finished. Printing is at 93%, almost finished. I'm just curious, does it need a continuous connection, or the G-code is sent to the SD card of the camera and it will finish the printing? Let's close the browser. And it's working. I'm back now and I can see that it continues with working, so it doesn't need continuous connection between the browser and the camera. The printing was 26 minutes and 38 seconds, so keep in mind this time because I will compare it with the regular printing. And let's see the time-lapse video. So here it is, only 20 layers, so 0.91 megabyte. I can download it. Okay, not the best object for this time-lapse video because it has only 20 layers. But now let's see the time-lapse without this camera and the printing time. And now the same printing directly from the SD card. But I will keep the camera plugged, so I want to see if I can monitor it during the printing, even if I started regularly with the SD card. Print, yes, no coin. I don't know what's happening, but it went crazy to a side and extruding a lot of filaments, so I have to disable the printer. I'm not sure what happened, maybe because I'm connected with the app too, so I will exit every application. And it looks like this time it will be printed correctly, but I can see now this red light is not on, so it's not connected to the camera. In the meantime, I got the answer from the support. So only when printing is performed in the operating system of the Beagle camera, this means over the mobile phone or web control, in that case remote control can be performed in the app. But even if printer is disconnected, we can use the Beagle as a regular IP camera just to monitor without interrupt or possibility to stop the printing. And this is that regular super shaky time-lapse video, just creating picture every 10 seconds. And the printing is finished in 23 minutes, so approximately 3 or 4 minutes faster compared to the time-lapse version. Now one important thing I want to test, and that's the layer adhesion. I already did a similar experiment earlier, and I want to see if I will have a stronger layer adhesion if I print one object, or maybe the traveling, creating the time-lapse, will cool down the layer when it starts the next one, and the object will be weaker. And this is the object for the layer adhesion test, 10 mm in smaller diameter, 2 walls and 20% infill. And I'm creating the G-code, and one will be sent to the camera SD card and the other to the SD card of the printer. And with this button I am starting the printing over the camera. 2 walls, 20% infill, and this will be the version with the time-lapse. And printing of the second object is also finished. This is also printed with a time-lapse, but with a JPEG compression. Here you can see side by side two compression methods, and this is 2 times magnifying, this is 3 times, and I think the JPEG looks better. The printing time of one object was 1 hour and 15 minutes with the time-lapse method. And now printing the same objects directly from the SD card, and I will unplug the camera completely. Print. And again, this is the regular time-lapse video. With bad slingers we don't have stable view because we have a shaking nozzle and the object. Printed in 58 minutes. And of course this has much nicer surface because the nozzle stayed on the object, didn't have to move to the corner. And now we print another one and then do the layer adhesion test. And now let's test the layer adhesion. I already saw the numbers, but for the feeling, well, I couldn't feel any difference, and all test objects broke on the smaller cross-section area with that diameter of 10 millimeters. Well, this is the result I got, so something about I expected. The regularly printed object is approximately 35% stronger, but I already did similar experiments, and here I got opposite results, and the comments helped me out. So the reason that this was stronger compared to the single printing is that during the retraction and the traveling time, the filament melts more and sticks better to the layer below it. But back to our samples, keep in mind that this is a very small object. If we print something bigger, this difference will be much smaller. I prepared one more object. 12 megabyte G-code is uploaded in 15 seconds. And then I just press this button and the printing is started over the Beagle camera. So this is the preview from the camera, but at least I can show you now the 2D review, how it looks like. So this is the preview of the currently printed layer. This is a 3D review. And we can see here additional information about the model size or maybe the layer info. And I started the printing of the flexible octopus. The first layer is very important because it has a lot of separate parts and each must have good adhesion to the bed. Well, I'm on my workplace now, but even from here I can supervise the printing and I can pause or stop the printing if necessary. The printing is finished and I can see that I could reduce the stringing, so definitely it is worth to play with the traction speed and the distance. And be very careful when you're removing these parts because it may easily break off. And basically this is all the stringing on the back side, very minimally. And the most important, the time-lapse video. And I use here the JPEG compression. It is better, but I had to use the VLC media player to convert it to format which I can import into my video editor. And I have one last printing for this video. It will be a bird whistle, and I will print it with this antibacterial PLA. And it will be completely night printing, and only one artificial light will be enabled, and that's this one here. I prepared the G-code and I uploaded it over the browser. And then I connected the CD printer and I just started the printing from this window. Printing is in progress. This is now the second layer and I can see that the picture will be quite good. But I hope everything will be okay, and see you in the morning. The printing is finished, and just to show you how the infrared camera looks like, I will turn off the light. And I could hear some kind of switch inside. And this is how it looks like, so it is completely dark here. And this is a time-lapse video. Now I can see that the lighting could be a little bit better. And I will show you, if I switch to a little bit more professional, 2 reflectors, and I disable this spotlight, in that case I have a much better picture. And here you will see, if I switch, this is how it looks like. And here you can see side by side 2 images. And now let's remove the stringing and test this. And now the conclusions. Well, the Beagle camera is a cheap and simple alternative to the Octoprint with a little bit less functions. But first of all, check the compatibility, list of CD printers, slicer, 2.4 GHz network. What worked the best for me that I prepared the G-code on my laptop, and then I connected the camera over the browser, and I upload the G-code and I can start the printing. And after this I can use my smartphone to watch or to control the printing if necessary. Even if you start the printing over the SD card on the printer, in that case you can use the camera like a regular IP camera, but only for monitoring without controlling the printing. I noticed the filament runout sensor don't work when you use the camera mode printing. The time-lapse video needs more light, so the daylight is the best, but in that case the shadows from the clouds or moving of the sun may be visible on the video. So more stable video you can get in artificial light, but you need a little bit more professional lighting, so not just one spotlight like I tested in the video. It would be good to have better quality H.264 compression video, because it is more popular compression. The JPEG currently is in better quality, but to import it into my video editor I have to convert it with, I don't know, VLC media player or something like that. On base of this camera we have this anti-slip surface, which is improved compared to the versions of, I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago. It wasn't there, so this means that Mintion is listening the feedbacks and continuously improve this small camera. And that's why it is important. If you have some suggestion, leave the comment down in the comment section, because the company will read those and useful suggestion they will forward to their development department. Also, I separately send a detailed email to the company with my suggestions. For example, I would like to see some kind of maybe spaghetti detector integrated into this software, or exposure compensation in case if you have some white object with a black background, the object may be too light, so it will be good to have this kind of settings into the camera. One of the suggestions I made to the company is, this is small camera and usually we want to place it to something. My favorite would be if I could use this flexible arm, and the most common connection here is this thread. So it would be good to have this thread on the camera itself. Maybe we don't even need this base, or maybe a GoPro mount would be also useful if it is not copyrighted, I'm not sure. In that case we could easily place it to the tripod, or as I mentioned, this flexible arm, or some 3D printed version of these holders. Actually, on Thingiverse there is a solution which we can print and attach to this existing base. I will place the link down in the description. They continuously update the firmware. I just got the email that yesterday they upgraded the firmware. Upgrading is very simple, just downloading the file to the SD card, insert into the camera, and when you turn it on, you have to wait 3 minutes, and after that the firmware will be upgraded automatically. Well, that was my experience with this camera, and I wish you happy printing and, I don't know, video monitoring or time-lapse recording. Ruff.